Hey, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Mondays in the Meditation Room with Dr. K, where we are just having conversations, what I like to call midlife musings. Our broadcasts and our podcasts, our shows are really about mastering midlife. Right? I have a book called The Enlightened Woman: Inspiration and Reflections to Rediscover the Joy of Being You in Midlife and Beyond. And so, this is a conversation, this is a support um, area, support room. This is my meditation room. For those of you who will be watching for the very first time, I had the wonderful, can I say wonderful opportunity, right, when my son moved out to take his room and turn it into my meditation room. It's where I come and center, where I come and pray, where I come get quiet. It's where I come and just listen to my own heartbeat, listen to my own mind, right? To be able to get quiet. I light my candles, I play my music, I do my yoga, I do meditation in my meditation room. But this sacred space and place is really for women in midlife to really have a conversation, to get real, to get honest, a safe and sacred space for us to talk about redefining midlife. Hi, Myra Pittman. Good afternoon. Look, good evening, right? I'm going to say good afternoon, good evening, right? And really, this is a space for women, and we are changing it all the time, right? The doctors and the wellness community is changing it all the time, but anywhere from 45 to 65, where you are really in a place of rebirthing yourself, you are really in a place of reevaluating who you are. You're ready to prioritize yourself, your mind, your spirit, your body. It is a season where literally your body, your mind, your spirit, everything begins to shift and it begins to change. And of course, we know it as they talk about it for women as those hot flashes, right? Those foggy brains, those sleepless nights, all of the above, where everybody is working on your last nerve and you want to get rid of everybody. But all of it is just a sign crying out to your spirit to say, it's time to shift. It's time to prioritize yourself. It's time to put yourself first. So we also know it by what? People calling it a crisis, midlife crisis. Well, can I tell you, we are redefining what midlife is, and we're not calling it a crisis. We are calling it a midlife revelation. It's because we're coming into information, we're coming into knowledge, right? We're having epiphanies, we're having aha moments that we are more than enough in ourselves. We're already enough, right? We no longer get to that place where we feel like we need to compete, right? No longer feeling like we need to find affirmation and confirmation from other people. It might be times when we're ready to shift and live in this second half of life. We might end up having to change careers. Some people change relationships. It's all of the above. Midlife can be crisis inducing, but when you have a tribe, when you take the time to flow with whatever's going on with you find your perspective shifting on midlife and find out that it can be one of the most beautiful, significant, empowering seasons of your life. How did I get to this place? I got to this place because I hit the proverbial brick wall. I hit a brick wall and start asking myself those questions. Who am I? What am I doing with my life? Where did the years go? Not only that, physically, my body started telling me, can I tell you, these hot flashes, man, they will change your life, right? Not being able to sleep, always trying to figure out so many answers to questions. And so I had to really go deep go in. I started doing research. I started talking to people. I started asking questions. And can I tell you, for those of you who are watching, I'm going to ask you the same thing. Did anybody talk to you about what it meant to be in midlife? Did anybody have a conversation with you about the change that was going to begin to happen in your body, or the change that was going to begin to happen in your spirit, that change and that shift that was going to begin to happen in your mind? It's like literally your brain is rewiring. And when you find yourself just being short, looking in the mirror, saying, "Who is this woman? Where did my life go? Where did my joy go? What am I doing with my life?" Right? And sometimes it is precipitated by some crises. You may be at the end of a relationship. You may be at the end of a job. You may be handling older parents, still dealing with adult children, or you just feel like a loss of significance in your life, and whether you're living a life of meaning and fulfillment. So the question is, what do you do? Right? The answer is, first of all, you give yourself permission to be in that space. And you give yourself permission to ask the questions that need to be asked, and not just asked, but answered. Give yourself permission to feel what you feel and to go through what you're going through in that season, because it is a transition, and transitions can be frightening. They can create all kind of disequilibrium. They can create a lot of challenges, right? So, man, it is amazing. Hey, Sandra, welcome. I'm glad you were able to figure it out and come on in. How about this is also the season that sometimes you end up having to learn some new things, stretch, right? You are stretched. Everything is stretched, right? You are pushed outside of your comfort zone to recreate yourself, to give birth to yourself. So, what an amazing, amazing opportunity this is. Midlife is an opportunity, right? It's full of possibilities. And how we see it will determine how we go through it. Will this be one of the best seasons in your lives? Or will you allow things and people around you and conditioning to determine what your life is going to be like in the second half? So I decided that I'm giving myself permission to walk in my full agency without apology, and to allow myself to evolve and grow. And some people will grow with you and some people won't. But that doesn't mean you don't keep going on your journey. That's the good thing about that. Yes, my emotional changes, everything. So that whole change is really about changing your perspective about life. Women are taught and conditioned from an early age to take care of everybody else, to put other people before us, right? We are always, often, or always down on our own list of things to do. We don't even prioritize ourselves, right? And so we have to make sure we are putting ourselves first, right? And that whole, oh my gosh, nobody talks to us about that whole menopause things and what's going on in our bodies. And that a lot of times we are dealing with grief, right? We feel a loss, a sense of loss, depending on where you are in the spectrum of age and what your body is going through. Nobody really prepares us for the sense of loss, right? For the sense of the change that happens, because that's why a lot of people are afraid of change. It's not so much the change that we're afraid of, it's the sense of loss, the loss of who I used to be, the loss of not knowing or understanding. We don't like that level of uncertainty that comes with midlife. Like, what do I do now? How do I handle my money? How do I handle my relationships? How do I handle being single? If I am now single or continue to be single, how do I handle all of those things? And in our community, we are used to holding secrets or keeping things in or not sharing what we're going through, and then we suffer in silence, which can then create whole issues with our health, and in particular our mental health. So we have to make sure, right, we get educated, we ask questions, and don't allow people to make us think that we are losing our minds or something is wrong with us. Can I tell you, all the women that I've talked to that's going through this season, because nobody really talked to them or shared with them or was supportive of them, they literally said, I feel like I'm losing my mind. And you can literally feel like that because so much is going on with you. So tonight, I really want to just take a few moments, because we don't like to be up too late, right? We want to slip into our evening rituals so that we can relax and calm down, get off of the phone, get off of the computer and all of that, right? Hey, Dana Dane, welcome. I'm glad you were able to come on over. Facebook was acting kind of janky tonight. Not sure what's going on with them, but I didn't want to let it stop me. So I want to keep on going, trying to figure out what's going on with my camera. All right. So tonight I wanted to take a few moments. Last Monday in the meditation room, we were talking about being a grown woman and what that meant. Acknowledging our stuff. Really flowing with it and being willing to grow from where we are and embracing, right, that whole piece of being grown, of not grownish, right? you know where we would tell that to little girls who thought they were grown and were acting grown, right? No, we mean actually being grown, embracing our and acknowledging our pain, acknowledging our past, acknowledging our passion, embracing all of it, right? And letting ourselves shine, right? But then owning our stuff, owning all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, not making excuses, no longer blaming anybody else. And it did not mean that we have not been hurt, betrayed, or any of those things, but releasing all of that, releasing the energy to blame people for what has happened in our lives or what's going on in our lives. Own our own mistakes, own our own issues, right? Being grown, right? And then shining, allowing our light to shine, allowing our uniqueness, our authenticity, embracing it and allowing it to shine. You are here because somebody in the earth has need of what you have. No longer second guessing yourself, no longer needing somebody to approve of your movements, of your dreams, of your life, of who you are, of your decisions. And that can be hard because we're such relational beings as gendered women, right? To seek that approval. But to be able to stand on your own, whether it works out or not, whether it turns out to be a mistake or not, that's being a grown woman, right? Owning your stuff and then shine. What? Acknowledging, owning, owning it, whatever it is, because we have to acknowledge that our experiences are not who we are. It is just an experience, something that we've gone through. It is not our identity. That's a good thing, right? And today I just want to just take a few moments to talk about taking midlife inventory. Taking midlife inventory. Um, I worked in retail for many years when I first got out of college. Matter of fact, when I went to college for fashion merchandising and marketing, I just knew, y'all, get this, I just knew that I was going to be able to move to Milan, Italy, have me a villa, work in haute couture, high fashion, go to the fashion shows, the fashion houses, and work for a major designer, even dabble in a little designing myself. I just knew that's what was going to happen, but it didn't turn out that way, right? And so I release that dream, but I hold on to it every now and then. I get to use it a little bit. And I had to realize that in Retail. I did, instead of going Milan, I did work in retail for one of the major department stores in this area, in the DMV area, which is the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, which is how I came to this area. I interviewed, got a job with a major retailer in this area, moved all the way up here. Went into the buying office for one of those major retailers and had it. I just absolutely loved it. It was something I really loved to do. But one of the things I did not like to do was inventory. It was necessary, it was mandatory, because there was no way for us to know where we stood, right, as a department store. And for me, the areas that I was over and then as a buyer, to know where we stood, where we were, what we had on hand, right? And so we needed to make sure that what we had on hand um, was the same as what we had in our records, right? We had to find out whether or not there were shortages, what the issues were, and where we were. And it also set us up to know what really worked for us in that location, whether we need to change what we were buying, if we needed to put things on sale, if we needed to buy some more things, or if we needed to discontinue some of those things, right? And it set us up for the future, what to do next. The problem with it, it was so tedious, right? And we couldn't do it until the store closed. And we would have to hire additional people to come in to help us with the inventory, right? And then we had to manage it. We had to go through, straighten up the whole store, organize the storage room, organize everywhere, because we had to count everything, right? So we had to train people to help us do it, and we had to spend time with them, and then we had to make sure, follow behind them, make sure they were doing it right. Well, can I tell you, not only is that important for companies or corporations, because everybody has some form of taking inventory, which means you stop where you are and look at what you have, how well you've done, and it helps you to determine what you're going to do next. Phew. Can I tell you, midlife is the perfect time to take inventory of your life. Those two questions are, what do you have and what do you want? Was what I found, that in midlife, while we've been so busy living, trying to make a living and take care of everybody else and move forward, we don't really understand how valuable we are, how much we really know, how much we've really accomplished, how much we've done in life, how many things we've overcome. Woo, take an inventory, right? I've had the opportunity, somebody said, could you just write, a quick bio for me and text it? And I had to take a minute. And I found that I was minimizing a lot of what I experienced, what I learned, what I was able to do. And I think a lot of women do that very thing. And so as we move into midlife, the second half of our life, to follow our dreams, to try something new, right? To make a shift, we need to stop and take inventory. Who are you? Do you know yourself? Do you know who you are? Do you know now what you like, what you don't like, what brings you joy, what makes you angry? Have you shifted and said, look, here's a new line of demarcation, here's a new line of boundaries. I'm not doing that anymore. Right? In midlife, you get there, you're like, you used to get away with that, but I'm not having that now. I'm not dealing with that anymore. Right? So you need to take inventory. You'd be surprised how much you really have done. And here's the thing, other people know your work. Other people know how gifted you are. Other people know how wise you really are. It's us. We have to manage and monitor our self talk and our self image, right? When I think about my life, when I look back over my life, The coach was asking me some questions because every coach needs a coach, right? And she was asking me those questions, and she said, "What? You've done that for how long? So you already know how to do this, and you've done what? You've done that because most of us have done things um, that is career worthy without a title." If you've been the go-to person to plan all the things for your family, all the family reunions, if you've been the go-to person to make sure your parents who may be sick or ailing handle things, you may have had to raise your children and your siblings. You may have had to go through and manage money and make money and stretch money and grow money. Do you realize how much skill set you have just because you don't have the title of financial planner or organizational management or all of those things, but you have the experience and the know-how. Some of us so undervalue ourselves and our experience. So you need to stop and take an inventory of your life. Where have you been? What have you done? Right? Even in those low places, or what we call valley places, what did you learn? What did you come out of that experience knowing that can be valuable or even profitable for you, or that you can pat yourself on the back for learning and going through? During this pandemic, it has been challenging for all of us. And it has been traumatizing for many of us. We've lost things, lost jobs, lost people that we love, but we've managed to make it this far, right? Some of us have been on jobs where if we weren't there, if we didn't show up, things would fall apart. And just because they undervalue your presence and your gift does not mean you're not valuable. Maybe this is your season to take what you have and to take what you know and do something with it that will benefit you and leave a legacy for the next generation and you. Ah, woo! Take a midlife inventory, y'all. Look over your life. What do I have? What do I have? Who am I? Right? And you would be surprised, I believe, really, when you look back and look at your life and see what you've accomplished. That doesn't mean your name needs to be in lights or everybody know your name, but you need to celebrate yourself for getting this far. How much have you learned? What skills do you have? What do you have to offer? Take an inventory of yourself. Why? Because it tells you where you are. What maybe you need to count your blessings and cut your losses and let some of that stuff stay back in 2020 and get a new vision for your life and for yourself for 2021, right? What I say, count your blessings, right? So a lot of times we don't acknowledge what we have because we're so busy looking at what somebody else has, or so busy looking into tomorrow that we don't appreciate what we have right now. I guarantee if you start thinking about your life and the things you already have, you will be appreciative and astonished at how blessed you really are, even right now. Oh my God. Right? So, I'm like, I am blessed because I do have basically what I need. And I am enough for what I need to do and how I need to show up in life right now. I do have a support system because sometimes life can make you feel like you're in this thing all by yourself, but you are not. You do have people who love you. You do have a sounding board. Um, I guarantee if you're a journaler, if you go back and look at some of your journals, you will see some of the things you stressed about, worried about, were concerned about, didn't think you were going to make it through. And look, it's now 2 years later, and you're still here and you have overcome. Mm, think about the small things that you have and that you've done. I could not believe it when I went back through some of my journals. I was like, wow, Can I tell you? I mean, I literally, I have not even thought about the challenge of going through doing what I had to do, plus working on my doctorate at the same time. Do you all know that every now and then I forget that I did that? And that was just, what, a little over a year ago, right? You cannot have your head down so far that you forget what you have accomplished and what you have done, right? Take inventory, midlife inventory. Do you do things that bring you joy? Do you do things that cause you to light up on the inside? Do you do those things, right? Take inventory of your life, because if you're not, and you feel like your joy might be seeping out or running away from you, man, then you need to change some things. Find out what are the things, right? We talked about this, a few months ago. What are those things that you're passionate about or bring you joy? And give yourself permission, y'all, to want to do things that are fulfilling for you, that bring you fulfillment, that bring you meaning. Because everything doesn't have to be transactional. Everything doesn't have to be about what am I going to get for this? How much money am I going to make? Some of it is just for the joy of feeling fulfilled, the joy of helping somebody else, the joy of encouraging somebody else, the joy of service, because part of service is a part of life, right? So take inventory so you know where you are, what you have, so you can be reminded of what a unique and amazing woman that you are, and manage your self talk. Make sure you don't talk down to yourself or talk about yourself, right? Whew, that's good. Right. Dana said, forget about that degree until that student loan payment pays. Right. Woo. If that's not a reminder, I don't know what else, right? Remembering how much you invested in yourself. But think about that. If you invested in yourself, right, you believe in yourself and you believe in your gifting and in your personhood, right? So that's what we do. We invest in ourselves, and we might have to still pay for it, right? But at least we took a step. At least we did something to better ourselves so that we can be better equipped to do what it is we feel like we're called to do, right? So not only taking inventory of where you are, because it's a good snapshot of where you are, it then becomes a springboard to where you want to go. You get to see this worked, that doesn't work. I'm not doing that no more. Right? That was in alignment with my spirit and what my worldview is. That's not. I'm not doing that anymore. Do you realize how long we will do stuff that we don't even want to do and don't like doing and don't enjoy doing? What? Because we feel guilty about not doing it, right? Women are notorious for that, right? And we are just as unhappy as we can be, right? So when you take an inventory, take a good look at what you have, you'd be surprised, right, of how amazing you really are. Then, we won't be able to talk about it too much on tonight because I don't want to keep you too long, but not just what do I have, but what do I want? Oh my God, man, we don't ask ourselves that enough. What do I want? What do I want? Some of us don't even think we have a right to, right? A right to happiness or joy or fulfillment, passion, an exciting relationship, you know, an exciting and fulfilling marital relationship. Sometimes we think we aren't worthy or we don't deserve it, especially if you're a woman of faith in traditional religion, right? They have, in the effort to control, have talked us out of it, as if joy is not a part of being aligned with our creator. Here's the thing, ask yourself that question: what do I want? And not feel bad about it, as if we're not supposed to want or desire. We've been even somehow taught that that's inherently evil to want something. Man, how do you know what you want to do with yourself, with your energy, right? If you don't ask yourself, what do I want? And what we want now may not be the same that we wanted, right, when we were 20 or 30, right? Or even yesterday. We have the right to change our mind. How cool is that, right? So give yourself permission to say, what do I want? What do I want in this amazing season of midlife? What do I want in this second half of my life? What do I want to see happen? What do I want to accomplish? Um, how do I want to use my gifts? How do I want to use the talents that I have? How do I want to use the passion that I have to create the life that I want? And some of us are challenged with that because we've been so used to settling. We've been told we need to take what we can get, right, and be happy. Mm-mm. Or to settle. Wow, no. Or be okay with the fact that we get to evolve and change, right? So, what do you want? Take some time, get quiet, and allow yourself to think outside of the box of your comfort zone, right? And say, what do I want? And here's the thing, don't think that certain things are too late, because that, right, can be dangerous too. I know we think we're in midlife, you're 50 and above or close to 60, right? Like I am, that we stop having expectations out of life. No, don't stop dreaming. Don't start having expectations, right? And don't stop wanting what you want. Now, be clear. I'm not saying to have a want and desire just to have it, right? Or it causes you stress. I'm talking about on the grand scheme of normal things, of wanting more and be okay with wanting more out of life, right? Because you can wake up and you're like, it got to be more to it than this. Y'all remember that commercial that used to come on? I can't even remember what the product or service was. And the man used to be dragging in, talking about not another day, not another day. Man, that's a horrible existence, right? We don't give ourselves the opportunity to explore new things, try new things, go new places, do things we haven't done before. What do you want out of life? Do you want adventure? Do you want love? Do you want to accomplish something new? Do you want to try something you've never done? I know I still want to try the whole airlift, what it is, where you go out like you jumping out of the airplane, but you're not really jumping out of the airplane. You go to that place and then you just are like soaring and letting the air hold you up. Right. Yeah, I want to do that. I want to experience that. I want to see what it's like to feel, to be just like to let go. You have nothing holding you up but that air. Right. Woo, man. To some people, that's like, hell no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to feel like I'm falling out of an airplane or nothing. So that might not be your thing. So you don't have to try to fit what you want into what somebody else is doing. Make it your own, right? Create a want list. That's your assignment. Take an inventory, do a real inventory of your life, right? Look back over your life. What do you have? I guarantee you have more than you think you have, right? You are more than you think you are. You've done more than you think you are. Man, that is amazing. Like, yeah, right? She said base jumping. That's like when you jump off into that deep thing. I think I'm talking about skydiving. That's what it is. It's called skydiving, but you're not really, write it down, right? What do I want? Take inventory of your life. What do I have, right? And what do I want? Because what it does is locate you, and then you can have a place from which to dream from or hope from. Right, Myra said, I'm not adventurous. I know. Well, you're saying that you may or may not. Can I tell you, being in a woman in this America, you kind of are adventurous. It depends on how you look at it. Living is an adventure from one day to the next, right? Um, but and then it doesn't have to be anything that's scary, right? It could be, doing something, finding a place to go to take a walk, um, or hike in an environment that you've not been to before. Literally, I mean something as simple as that. In the area we live in the DMV, right? There are so many places that we can explore that's right here, that some are not even maybe 45 minutes away or hour away. You know, take some time to just explore. Look on Google, what events are happening this weekend, right? In the summertime, spring and summertime, that's really why I like this area. There are a lot of things that are free, right? That are free that you can try that you don't normally get to try, right? Hey, Sister Max, right? And so we're talking tonight about, you know, taking a midlife inventory. What what are those things that may have caused you pain that you're ready to let go of when you take that inventory? Why do you feel a certain way? Why do you react a certain way? Why do you do a certain thing? Right? What's the root of that? Where is it coming from? And is it serving you, or is it hindering you? Or is it continuing to keep you in pain? Right? Then take an inventory of that. And you don't have to rush. This is not like a quick pop quiz. This is a way of embracing yourself in this season. Take the time to do it, right? Ask yourself those questions, right? Right. Dana said she found some beautiful areas to walk through with Girl Trek. Girl Trek is great. I mean, you might not even consider joining a group like that, but I mean, I joined it. I decided, there are so many challenges, all kind of challenges, do this, that, and the other. And I found that one, with Girl Trek, a million Black women walking, that was their goal. That resistance is being healthy. And part of that is taking care of our bodies. And for them, it was through walking. It is like a million women in a support group helping each other get healthier and being creative about where I want to go to walk, right? And what I want to do. Find something that pushes you just a little bit out of your comfort zone in 2021, right? That will cause you to say, woo, I did it. I accomplished that, right? Set a goal, set an intention, do something, right? That pushes you towards reigniting your creativity about your life. And, one of the worst things we can do is to shrink ourselves and to shrink our lives instead of growing and expanding as we grow and go into midlife, right? Man, I I love this season, because it's causing me to experience things and try things and challenge myself and push myself. Because, it's not just men, it's women that get, a rush when they accomplish something, when they do something, and they try something, right? And also, don't beat yourself up if it doesn't work, right? Or, you can chalk that up to say, "Ooh, well, I tried that. All right, next," right? And be okay with it, right? So let's take a midlife inventory and really look at your life. What do I have? And I'm here to tell you, I guarantee you will be surprised at what you already have and you've already done, that you have what it takes and that you are already more than enough. Whew. And then give yourself permission. Don't police yourself. Don't police your thoughts. Don't police your mind. Just give yourself permission. What do I really want? Hmm. Write it down. Think about it. Find a sister friend to talk it over with, to share your thoughts with. And don't be guilty or ashamed or any of that. Let's just go for it and be okay. Like for tonight, when, I'm comfortable knowing that, we're doing Mondays in the meditation room. We're going to be on the Enlightened Woman Facebook page through Facebook, right? Stretched out into doing YouTube, right? And got ready to schedule tonight's broadcast. And it was like, there's an error with Facebook, all this kind of stuff. You're not going to be able to do it. And that little thought, right, in the back of my mind that's always looking for comfort was like, oh, just don't do it tonight then, because you don't know what it's going to be like, if you have to do it to YouTube, and you might not see the usual number of your Enlightened Woman tribe, because they might not want to take that extra step to go find you on YouTube, all that. Just don't do it. Just say you're not doing it tonight. But in this midlife, I've learned to shift with that things don't have to be perfect for me to move forward. They don't have to, be comfortable for me to try it. And so thank you for those of you who are watching on YouTube, who took that extra step to watch it. Thank you. I appreciate it. And that could be it for you too as well. Don't let a little resistance or pushback or discomfort keep you from taking that extra step to push forward, to keep moving, because resistance and setbacks are part of it. Don't judge it as there's something wrong or something you shouldn't do. Move forward. Resistance is part of the come up. Resistance is part of the moving forward. Resistance is a part of it. And that's how we get stronger, by moving forward, by doing it even if we're afraid, pressing forward. And midlife, and making major decisions for your life and for the rest of your life, and what you're going to do with yourself, what things are you going to try, what things are you going to stop doing, right? Because it's not always about what you're going to start doing. It's also what things are you going to stop doing. Things that we're used to doing and comfortable doing, this might be the season to stop it, right? When you decide to do something, right, know that it's not going to be easy. And if people are used to you being a certain way, and you're starting to hold them accountable for their own life, right, and not you, know that they're not going to be happy. And it might be tough for a minute, but keep pressing forward, keep moving forward. The steps that you had to take to watch and come on into the meditation room, instead of doing it on Facebook, you had to do it on YouTube. Take that as a sign, right? That this is your season to take that extra step just for you, to nurture yourself. Yes, yes, and yes. I love y'all. While y'all here on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. I'm just getting started on it, and learning and getting coached on how to do and build the community. So thank y'all for taking that leap of faith with me and joining me there. How many of y'all, is this your first time kind of hanging out at YouTube or doing stuff? Many of us do YouTube, watch YouTube, that we see in our Facebook timelines and all those kind of things. But is this your first time literally going to YouTube specifically to find something to watch? Let me know. Yep. Sandra said, "What things will I stop doing?" Right? Because This might be your season to stop doing some stuff that might not be serving you well, that might not be benefiting you, right? Hey, Sister Janine, love you too. How you doing? Continuing to pray for you and the family while you out there and you're serving, keeping people healthy and well. Thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you, everybody who joined. Thank you, Enlightened Woman Tribe. Don't forget to pass the word, share the good news, and share the love with another sister that's going through midlife that might need this opportunity to grow and to find a sacred tribe that encourages us, right? We're going to talk some more about that midlife inventory and what that means and what that looks like. Come on back Monday and tell me how it went, what it was like for you this week as you thought about those things, as you wrote about those things, if you talk to your sister friends about it, right? Yeah, good. Sister Janine, I'm glad you guys are okay, right? So do that. And then think about what you want out of life, right? And sometimes we get challenged because nobody asks you, right? And you haven't even asked yourself. How are you going to shape this second half of your life if you don't know what you want? You can't get what you want unless you know what you want. So ask yourself, what do I want? Ha! I love it, love it, love it. All right, Enlightened Woman Child, that's our time for tonight. Thank you. I hope you have a peaceful sleep. Give yourself some time to unwind, right? Find your evening ritual so that you can get a good night's sleep, right? And we're going to talk about the winning in menopause. We're going to talk about that too, and what's going on with our bodies and how we can manage and master midlife. Why? Because we're enlightened women. We are redefining what it means to be in midlife. It's midlife revelation, right? Woo! Love y'all. Have an amazing night. My cousin says, stay safe, y'all. Do that because we forget we are still in a pandemic, right? And we still need to be mindful of that and take care of yourself. And we're going to talk about that in the coming weeks too. How do we, in our midlife bodies, loving our midlife bodies, I call it black body magic. What do we do and what things can we do to build our immune system, to take care of our bodies, our skin, our bodies? What do we do? So we have a lot to talk about in the meditation room, and I'm excited about it, right? Hey, yay. Good night, y'all. Don't forget to love on yourself because you are so worthy of it all. And let your light shine because you're an enlightened woman. See y'all next week, Mondays in the meditation room. Good night, y'all. See ya.